I want to introduce you, rock star agent from LA and South California, Krys Benyamein. I know
Hey,
Chris for a couple of years now. Last time I met him, it was at Tom Ferry Summit at 2022. He was on stage talking about his challenge, climbing up on Mount Everest. And every day since then, I see him on my Instagram story, in my Instagram feed. And Chris is doing just unbelievable job on social media marketing. So welcome, Chris. I hope you can share your secrets with us.
oh, thank you. Yes, thank you for having me. It's good to see you again. And it's just, yeah, man, I'm blessed. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful. So a lot of my subscribers, a lot of people who's watching us live right now know you from Tom Ferry ecosystem. But for new viewers, why wouldn't we start from introducing yourself? Tell about how long you've been in business and where are you at right now?
Yeah, thank you. So, my name is Krys Benyamein. I'm a realtor in Southern California. I'm serving the LA, Orange County, San Diego. Gosh, I'm in Riverside County right now, which is why I'm in a car because I'm still fully in production. But I was an attorney by trade before getting into real estate, and I transitioned in 2018. I work, my office is in Southeast Los Angeles, and I work mainly with my small team, which is my mother and I. And we do about 100 transactions a year. And when I'm not selling houses, I like to climb. That's like a big hobby and passion of mine. And I love making videos. That's one way that I love to market. And I got a wife and a baby. I'm living pretty good. I'm pretty happy.
Absolutely. Now that your experience with climbing Mount Everest was very impactful on your real estate career. So I can't wait to get to that topic right from the spot. And then we'll talk about your business and social media marketing. So tell me,
Yeah.
how you come up with the idea that you want to climb on Everest? Was that something like your dream from kindergarten?
Yeah, it was a dream for very many years. I had dreamed about it and kind of was like putting the pieces together to climb Mount Everest for about 10 years before it actually happened. So I was 21. I graduated from college a little bit early. I had some time before college and law school. And one of my friends suggested to me, why don't you climb Mount Everest, in this like few months that you have off? And I just was like, wow, I never really thought about something like that. And it turned me on. It was just something that sounded really, special. So I did some research and I signed up for an Everest base camp hike. It was just a hike. And I hiked to Everest base camp and it kind of just transformed my life. I was a 21-year-old kid. And since that experience, I started doing things to get me closer to eventually climbing Mount Everest. So I got really into rock climbing because I ended up in law school in Las Vegas, which is, the mecca of rock climbing. And then I got into mountaineering and the ice and the snow and just slowly building up with smaller and smaller mountains until eventually Mount Everest. And that was 2022. And yeah, now I'm training actually to climb Aconcagua. That's the biggest mountain in the Americas. It's a little bit under 7,000 meters. I think like 23,000 feet in Argentina. Yeah, one of the seven summits. So it's like I'm already Everest is like in the past. I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, you're always looking for challenges, are you?
You have to, man. I think that's kind of I think that's life, at least for me. You're either very motivated by the carrot or motivated by the stick. And when I set out big goals or things that I'm chasing afterwards, it just seems to give me more clarity in everything else that I'm doing. So right now I'm training for another climb and I have to wake up earlier. I have to just like doing way more, but I find myself more focused at the office. I find myself more focused making my calls. I find myself just more disciplined in other aspects because I have less time to do just as much stuff, to do even more stuff. Does that make sense?
It does. And I want to go a little deeper and see where you get this consistency because I believe that climbing Mount Everest, like you just mentioned, it's not something that you decide and go. You need to prepare.
Right.
You want to do routine over and over to get yourself ready. Same with real estate. I see your posts on daily basis that shows high level of consistency. So how these two events combine together? Is this something inside of you that with the way you were born, or you build it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that there are multiple layers to it, transparently, to be very honest. I think there are different layers to people's motivations and disciplines. I do think one component is like my immigrant mentality. My mom and dad are from Egypt. My sister and I are first generation Americans. They sacrificed a lot, I think, for us to have these opportunities. So there is a big component of my sort of focus that comes from seeing my parents work so hard for so many years. I think the other big thing is that can't control the results, but you can control the daily actions. And when I don't know, how would I say it? It's like I have an identity of who I am, a vision of who I am, and I want to do the things every single day that comport with like the picture of Krys Benyamein in my brain. You know what I'm saying? So the Krys Benyamein that I'm aspiring to be every single day is the guy that is like, I don't know, present with his family, is the guy that sets his 2 appointments, is the guy that makes his 10 conversations, is the guy that gets right now 2 workouts in every day. So it's like, I can't control whether I'm going to summit this mountain. I can't control, if I'm going to get the listing, but I can control like everything leading up to it. And I just want to be that undeniable person. You know what I'm saying? It's like it makes me feel really good when you say you see me every day on social media and you see consistency, because like I don't care if the video goes viral or not. I really don't. I care about the muscle that I've built, that I want to show up. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Little steps, little make the big picture. Little steps
Yeah,
getting you to
exactly.
the top of Mount Everest.
Don't think it starts with like the same discipline that you have 10 years down the road. You know what I mean? Like it didn't start with Mount Everest. It started with smaller mountains, local mountains, 14,000 footers in California, smaller things. And then it builds up, and it wasn't video content every single day. It was video content once a week for almost a full year before I felt like I was disciplined enough to show up every single day. So I think that's another piece. Don't compare yourself to Roman or Krys. What can you do? Like, what is your Mount Everest? What is your idea of consistency? You set that goal and then you stick to it. That's simple.
That is very, very much. Let's talk about your real estate career for a second. How long have you been in business?
2018. So actually October 2018. So this is I'm going into my 5th year. This is five plus.
Years, and you reached such a tremendous success. I know agents who've been in business for 20 years and they're dreaming about getting where you are. So tell me, step by step, how that came together, how you started thinking about maybe I should use social media as one of my lead generation sources, and how did you get
Yes.
there?
So I was very blessed to be able to sort of get to step into a machine that was already moving. So I came into real estate because my family has been in this business. My mom has been one of the top like Los Angeles realtors for the past 34 years, like one of the top in the Century 21 system when she was with them. Now she's been one of the top like in our local market for years. So I was coming into an industry that I had a lot of like resources and really more importantly role models. So the thing about real estate, which is wonderful, is the people in it do not seem to be very worried about like sharing secrets, and you don't have to try to figure some shit out on your own. So I watched and I helped and I was working with my mom's clients figuring out like what I could do to add to the business, because when I started, it's not like people are knocking on my door to have me represent them. If anything, it was like a very hard identity change because I was a lawyer before, and it just commanded a different kind of respect than when I knock on somebody's door and they're like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? So there is sort of this like change in identity. But you just start to learn like these actions create results. So the video specifically, I went to a Tom Ferry seminar my mom took me to in 2018, and he said, if you're going to stay in this business, you need to make video content. And I just sort of said to myself, this is one thing that I can do to help generate some business for us. It'll be totally free. Nobody controls it except me. I'll just do one video every single week and we'll see what happens. And it just turned into something that I really enjoyed. I think that's another big piece is if you don't like what you're doing, find some component of the business that you enjoy, because there's a reason why people are successful doing certain things, you know? Like there are a lot of realtors not making video content that don't have YouTube podcasts that are selling a lot more houses than us. That's the truth. You know what I mean? But they do the mailing at a disgustingly religious, consistent basis. They do the calling at a religious, consistent basis. They have like the systems and processes and whatever type of like machine that they've built. So that's really like what I leaned into. I invest in marketing. Video marketing motivates me to want to go get another listing because in my head, I'm like, I got this idea. How do I accomplish it? I need a house to sell to go do this. Let me make this phone call because I want to make this video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm very happy that you said that even on your video on production level, you're still making calls, you're still door
Oh,
knocking, because a lot of agents dreaming, oh, I'm gonna record these reels, I'm gonna make funny doing like this, and boom, everyone's gonna ask me to list their houses. So
no, the
your
complete
example is
opposite.
showing that it's not necessarily true.
No, it's not true at all. You know, there are lead sources that definitely create business via video. You know, YouTube is a wonderful one. Don't get me wrong, I'm creating conversations on Instagram and I'm doing business from social media. But are you hunting or are you fishing? You know what I'm saying? It's marketing. So I'm putting video content out there as a fishing pole. But why am I going to sit there holding the pole if I can just put it on a stick or like, you know, stick it in the ground? I'm going to go out there and go shoot some squirrels. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like, what do you do? We got to go do this stuff.
Very interesting comparison. Love it.
Yeah.
So, Krys,
Thanks.
when you make videos on such a high level, especially with consistency you have and all the clever ideas you have, tell us about your process. Like, are you just thinking about what you have to record today and you do it every day? You write things down, or you have content calendar? What's your process of making such a engaging videos, I would say?
Thank you. My process for creating videos has really evolved over the years. Oh, where did I just go? Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here. I just
Coach?
lost your video. Here you are.
Oh, what just happened? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We're back on track.
Well, back. I'm sorry about that. Oh, so I would just say my process for video has changed over the years because it's like a muscle that I've exercised and I've gotten like faster at doing things, faster at writing. I feel like I'm always coming up with things, so for me to write stuff down. But really, my process is broken down into 3 steps, no matter what, when I'm doing. So the first step is coming up with my ideas. I use an iPhone. If you have an Android, it would be the same thing. Like you have a notepad on your phone. Anytime I see an article, I watch a video, I am in the field and I'm asked a question, I will go to the notepad and I will write it down. And I know that sounds like crazy, but you have to start doing this because we can't remember everything. You don't have to flesh out the whole idea, you just have to write it down somewhere. Once a week, I'll go through those ideas and create them into video scripts or video concepts that I want to shoot, right? So they're not just loose ideas at this point. Like I have a list of ideas and now I'm turning them into video one. What is escrow? Video two, I wrote down like this idea. How am I going to turn it into a concept? You know what I'm saying? And
Sure.
it's a session where I won't leave until I know exactly what the video looks like, because the next step is shooting it. And when I'm shooting content, I'm not coming up with content. I'm not trying to write the script. I'm not trying to come up with the idea. If you give me an idea when I'm shooting content, sometimes I'll do it, but most of the time I just save it for later because it's like I have to keep my mind focused on the like goal, right? It's like I can't get off the hamster wheel. So I shoot the content. And then the final step is when the videos are then finished and edited, I will write the captions, like what the copy is going to be
Right.
and what day they're going to be scheduled. That's like the perfect world sequence. I'm a realtor. I have a kid and a wife and a million like things that pull me in different directions. So I'm doing my best and I'm not perfect. So I won't always have it dialed in and I will have to sort of do some of this on the fly. But in the perfect world, I want it broken up like that. And that's how you remain like the highest levels of consistency.
You still have very solid SOP, standard operating procedure of how you do it. You're not jumping on, oh, right now I'm in the mood of shooting a reel. Let me do it right now. I'm in mood. You still have that
No,
standard procedure that you follow. That's show the higher level of accountability, and obviously your audience see it, and this is why they coming back over and over again to consume more content. And I love the
thank
sense
you.
of humor you put into all these videos.
Thank you. Yeah, the thing about social media specifically is that you have to understand people are going there to be entertained. They're going there to be educated. They're going there to be distracted from their lives. They're going there for a reason. And you have to know that we, as real estate agents, are competing against beautiful cars, beautiful women, like alcohol, parties, vacations. We're just competing against all of these other things on the internet. And in 2023, everybody is making videos. Like if you're still trying to overcome this idea that like video is important, like, far behind. Like you just need to accept it at this point. Really, in 2023, you can't just make video. You have to be thinking about like a hook. You have to be thinking about how do I get them to want to watch my video, because it's just not 2012 where people are impressed or give a shit that you want to record yourself. Like that worked for a little bit, but now it's like, basic things. Like if you have a video on social media and it begins with you clicking record, getting into position, and there's like 2 or 3 seconds of like that, figuring out what's about to happen, they've already left. You know what I mean? It's like sending a postcard with nothing on it.
That's so true. Another good
Sorry.
comparison. It's a
Yeah, I mean
postcard.
it with love.
All right. Well, Krys, one more question on that topic. How many people involved in your video creation? Is it just one man show, or you have videographer, person who's editing your videos, who's
Yeah,
doing reels, who's doing your YouTube stuff?
yeah, that's a great question. So before this year, I had videographers that I outsourced, and I would film with them 2 times a month. They would
Okay.
film all my content, they would get me all the content, and then it's up to me to distribute it. Because like I realized that we were spending so much on content in the form of listing videos, my marketing, my mom's marketing, it just made more sense to bring somebody in-house. So now I have like a full-time creative director. I pay him a salary. And he edits, shoots everything. He doesn't post anything. So everything on Instagram I post. I use Monday.com, which is a task management software, to house all of the content and my communication with my team. And then I have one of my assistants post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, my website, Google My Business. They post it everywhere else for me. But I'm the one writing the copy. I'm the one coming up with the ideas, writing the scripts. I have somebody edit it. I share everything on Instagram, and then I have my team distribute it everywhere else.
Yeah, I can see all the power of the team helping you out there. Well, good. To that level, it is makes sense to have someone taking care of things that more of a routine when you while you houses negotiating offers and writing copy and being on camera.
Right. Well, I think the challenge is like agents are watching these and listening to these things, and they think that they're being productive by getting really good at video editing. And don't get me wrong, like I know how to use CapCut. I'm pretty good on Canva. Like I'm very savvy and I enjoy doing it, but I understand where my highest and best use is. So if you do Canva and CapCut and you want to learn Photoshop because it's cathartic, you enjoy it, it's a release, and it's like therapy, I support you. But if you're doing it upset, angry, it's taking you away from doing other money making activities, you got to get your shit in check, because like you're not a video editor. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not an influencer. You need to do the stuff that is moving the needle, and getting really good at Photoshop. It's not it. It's not it.
Yeah, someone's supposed to be good at Photoshop when others good at selling houses.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you on that, Chris.
Yeah. So
All right. Well, let's wrap this podcast up with a message to the audience. You shared with us a lot of very motivational and practical things. So,
thank
what
you.
would you would say to that guy behind the camera who's watching you right now?
Just, man, I would say to anybody, I would say whatever you are thinking that you want to do, think bigger, because we just have so much potential and so much bandwidth and capacity that we accomplish these goals, and then we ask ourselves, what next? So I think whatever it is you want, you really got to be clear why you want it and that you like the journey. Like you want to sell 100 houses. Why do you want to sell 100 houses? And that you enjoy the process of selling 100 houses or 1,000 houses. Because like the award at the end of the year, Roman, but the award at the end of the year doesn't give like mean anything if you wanted to kill yourself all 364 days you were making calls, making video content, knocking on people's doors, doing client events. So like fall in love with the process and think bigger, because you're going to get it. And then what next? So yeah, that's what I'm telling myself.
That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Chris. Thank you for attending my podcast. I really appreciate you and your time. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for being patient with me in the audio visual stuff. God bless you.
Thank you.